Alright guys, so welcome to DVS 80. Typically, in a regular situation, I'd be going over this whole syllabus, giving you guys exactly what you guys need on the first day of class. But unfortunately, everything has to be done online, so this is my attempt to try to get the information to you guys the best that I can. So what I'm doing right here is I'm creating a video, pretty much going over everything that you need to know on the first day. So the syllabus again, we're just gonna go over it step by step by step. But before we start there, I want to get you guys kind of familiar with what we're gonna use to communicate. So the first thing I want you guys to do is make sure that you guys are able to log into your guys' Canvas. If you guys don't know what Canvas is, make sure that you just go to whatever web browser you like, go to bigbend.com. Once you guys go to the home page, you'll notice that there's these little links up top. Make sure that you click on Canvas. It's going to ask you for your credentials, just your login info and your password. Make sure you click on that and you'll arrive to Canvas. If you click on courses, you're going to have a list of the courses that you are registered for. Make sure you look for DVS80 Spring 2020, and then you will get to our homepage for our class, where I'm going to post announcements, links, pretty much everything that you need for the class is going to be found on Canvas. So make sure you're able to find it, so that way you can get access to all those things. So the first thing I'm going to ask you guys to go to once you guys go to Canvas is go to announcements, because announcements are kind of the important stuff in terms of links. A copy of the syllabus can be found there. So if you notice, I've already posted two different assignments. The third one's going to be actually this video, so that way you can look on it and kind of get an idea and ask questions if you guys have any questions on the course and how to be successful for the quarter. So the first thing I would do is go to DVS 80 Spring Syllabus, click on that guy. Notice that you're going to have the option of a link. Click on the link and you'll have your syllabus. It's going to pop out. So make sure that you download it, and once you download it, it's a really small file size, so you'll be able to open it up right away, and you'll have a copy of everything that I'm going over right now. So that way, if I'm going too fast, you can always print out a copy for yourself and kind of just use it for your guys' files. So make sure that you guys are able to go on Canvas. Make sure you're able to look at the syllabus and have a copy for your guys' selves. All right, so Canvas, super important. Make sure you go on there. Make sure you know where the syllabus is and where the announcements are at. Now, keep in mind that my format might look a little bit different because I'm through the instructor site. So your guys as a student might look a little bit different, but for the most part, I feel like everything is pretty consistent. So let's go back to the syllabus. So my name is Fabian Leyva. I'm going to be your instructor. Feel free to call me Mr. Leyva, Fabian, whatever you guys need. If you guys need anything, make sure that you guys email me or call me through my phone. You can send me a quick text, whatever you guys need, so that way I could help you out, especially during this time with Big Bend being closed in terms of classrooms. Communication is going to be key. So make sure that whatever you feel comfortable, whether it's emailing, um, please let me know. And I'm going to go over a couple of things that we're going to do in order to make sure that you guys, we are able to communicate, especially during class times. So yeah, so DVS 80, this is worth 4 credits. Keep in mind that this class mode that we have here is called a flipped classroom. I'll go over a little bit more what that is. But keep in mind that DVS 80 isn't the only flipped classroom. Math 94, 98, 99 are all this flipped classroom format. So when you go into your next math class, you're still going to be using the same websites. The instructor is still going to be providing the same supports. So keep in mind that this is your math class for the next couple of quarters in terms of the way it's run. So what is a flipped classroom? A flipped classroom requires students to watch videos and practice at home and complete checkpoints and exams in class. During actual class time, your instructor will help you with concepts and questions you are having difficulty understanding. Since there are no classes at BBCC for the time being, all aspects of the class will be online. So my hope is that once the classroom, not being in the classroom, is over, we'll be able to do things a little more typical in terms of our classrooms on Mondays and Wednesdays from 6:25 to 8:55. But until then, I'm going to try to provide as much support online as if it was a classroom. Of course, it's going to provide some challenges, especially being technological savvy is what I was trying to say. It's going to take a little bit of work. So yeah, let's get started here. So what are you gonna need every day? You're gonna need a laptop computer. Again, everything's gonna be online, so this is absolutely important. Paper and pencil to make sure you're doing math. Now, you're not going to turn in anything to me in terms of paper and pencil, but it's always nice, especially when doing math, that you have that there for you. Now, something that's super important that I wish everybody would practice and know the importance: multiplication facts. Now, knowing your basic multiplication facts is essential to your success in all math classes. Although you will not be tested on the actual multiplication facts, the math the math in the course will be significantly more difficult without. So please practice your multiplication facts. Super important that I actually even made a note to it. I did everything. If you don't know them, get some flashcards. Pretty much do something in order to make sure that you master multiplication facts. A lot of times when students struggle, especially during Unit 3, is because they're not as confident in those facts, and it slows them down. So make sure that you guys are able to do that. So, like I said, this whole classroom is going to be done online. It's going to be online through a website called wallmap.org. I'm going to go show you guys how to sign up, enrollment keys, and all that stuff in a quick second. I just want you to keep in mind that this section I'm going to go over while I'm working through the website. So hopefully, as I'm reading off these instructions, you can see the platform you're going to be working on. You're going to know what website to go to hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. Same thing with this last little section right over here. This is also going to be covered by everything that I'm working through right now. That way, hopefully, you know exactly what you're going to be working through, website and all that good stuff. All right, so what I would like you guys to do right now is to write down the course ID and the enrollment key somewhere on a piece of paper or something. Because right now what we're going to do is we're going to actually log you on to the website where you guys are actually going to be doing your work, and all the videos, the tests, the assignments, everything is going to be located at. So make sure you write down the course ID and the enrollment key right over here, so that way we don't have to look through them again. All right, so make sure you write that down. Once you write that down, what I want you to do is go to your web browser. It doesn't matter which web browser you use. Open up a new tab and go to wallmap.org. And wallmap.org is spelled exactly like it is right there. Make sure you press enter. Now you are going to register as a new student. Even if you've had me in courses before, you're going to have to register. This course has been changing a lot the last couple quarters, so there's been changes and changes, new classes, and unfortunately, even if you had me in the past, you are going to have to register as a new student. So again, wallmap.org. Make sure that you don't try to log in with any type of IDs. You just want to click on register as a new student. After you register as a new student, it's going to ask you to enter a username. Choose a password, confirm a password, first, last name, and enter an email. Um, my suggestion is just to use a username for your Big Bend ID. It's a very typical one that you've used throughout your guys' college careers, and something that I could also find easily. So my suggestion is just to use the username, whatever that email is. Fill in the information. When they ask you for that course ID, it was that number I asked you to write down. If you guys didn't have a chance to write it down, it is written right here real quickly. So course ID, enrollment key, make sure that you have those two and use that. So once you put in that course ID, enrollment key that I gave you, click sign up. It's going to take you to wallmap.org. I believe they take you to the homepage, and then you'll be able to use your username and password. Now keep in mind, you can use your phone to do this. You could use a desktop, a laptop, whatever you guys need to log in. So once you get signed up, you could use your username to log into this website. Now I am plugging in my stuff so to give you an idea of what's going to look like. Now, of course, it's going to look a little bit differently because you're going to be looking through a student's perspective. But right now, you're going to have courses that you teach. So notice you will have a DVS AD if you put in the course ID and the enrollment key correctly. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on DVS AD exactly like what I am doing. It's going to look a little bit different. You're going to look something like this. That's going to have a student platform, so to speak. And this is how pretty much the class is going to be run. You're going to have a total of 5 units to complete through online. Now, each unit is going to have about 5 to 8 different sections. So you notice the first one has 6 sections, the second one has 5, the third one has 8. Now, in order to complete the class, you're going to have to work through each one of these sections for each and every single unit. Now, the good thing is that each unit is pretty much set up the same. So there's nothing completely different between units. You just kind of have to work through it and push through it. Now, when you guys start off, you're going to have a small welcome to WAMAP. This is how you work through each and every section. So you want to start off with welcome to WAMAP. You click on the little link and it's going to take you to some type of questionnaire. The first three problems are just giving you guys set up so that way you guys are able to kind of plug in your numbers, know how to submit. So right now they're asking me to put in the answer box the whole number 7. So they're literally just telling me to put the number 7 and click submit. So again, this is just a really just very basic way of just making sure you know how to submit answers and how to navigate the website. So after you do that, notice that you could try another similar one. Of course, we're not going to try one for this situation because it's just getting used to the website. But after you do that, you get all green, you got 100%. Nice, you can go on to the second question. Once you click on the second question, they're going to tell you, hey, enter in this fraction into an answer box. When you're telling us to put 1 over 3 or 1/3. Whenever I'm putting fractions, I want to put that little forward slash, so I'm going to click that little 3, click submit, and then notice now that I have 100%. I did number 3 already just because I wanted to save some time. So notice that I've done all 3, so when I go back to DVS 80 spring quarter, notice that there's really not a lot showing that tells me that I completed it. But if I click on the next unit, notice that now Study Skills 1 popped out. So I'm going to work on Study Skills 1. After I pass that, just like I did before, I'm going to be able to move on to 1.1, 1.2, and so forth and so forth. Now, although you might see additional resources, keep in mind that when you click on these are just additional resources and questions. You don't technically have the questions that will get you moved on because you have to work sequentially each section before you can move on. So again, my suggestion for you when you guys are working through this is just start off with watching the videos. If you feel like you have a pretty strong idea of you remember this from sometime in school, just try to answer the questions because you have unlimited time on each and every single question within each of the sections. So you could attempt them over and over. They'll say something like try another question. If you get it wrong, you can keep trying and trying and trying. So that's my suggestion. Keep going there. So after you go work all through the units, notice at the very end you are going to have a Unit 1 review and exam. And it will pop up once you get through all 6 sections or however many sections per each unit there is. 100% on the review. You have as many attempts on the review that you guys need, and after that you will get an unit exam, a Unit 1 exam. You will need to get an 80% on the Unit 1 exam. Everything in this classroom can be done in your guys' houses or on your phone or whatever you guys need. The only thing that you need any type of proctoring is on the unit exams. In order to do the unit exams, you're going to have to go through something called ProctorU. The way you do that is through, again, Canvas. If you look at this little screen right over here, I know that to my side you have ProctorU as a little tab somewhere down here. Once you click on it, notice that it's going to take you to the website after you click on the open tab, and when this time comes, I will tell you a little bit more of how to do it, what you need, and what credentials. It's just a website to pretty much make sure that there's no cheating done. It ain't the perfect format in terms of online, but it's the best way that there is at the current moment. So that's what we're going to use. Again, until you take your Unit 1 test, I would not worry about it. These first couple days, what I really want you to do is just be able to log into WAMAP and just really understand how to navigate it and what's expected of you in terms of working on Units 1, 2, and 3. How do I get through Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and so forth and so forth. So, again, for the most part, the only thing that you will have to really do in a timely manner is the exams, because I will have to proctor them through online, which I will tell you how I'm going to do that when the time comes a little bit further. All right, so that's the website. I think that's a very quick, just kind of way of knowing how to do it. You will finish, after you finish your 5 units, you will have an exit exam and exit review that's over all of those units. Once you finish that exit exam review and the exit exam, then you can move on to Math 94. You pretty much complete the class. So yeah, that's how pretty much the website is pretty much works. You work through the units, you work through the exams, and I proctor the exams through ProctorU, at least at this moment. If you pass the exit exam, so at the very end you will earn a P for this course. If you do not pass the exam by the end of the quarter, you'll be assigned an audit grade and can resume work progress the next quarter. Keep in mind that your work will be saved from the previous quarter, but if you take a break for more than 2 quarters, unfortunately, you have to start all over. Now, if any student who feels he or she may need a reasonable accommodation for any type of disability, please call and make an appointment with me, and also contact Disability Services at the following number. They'll make sure that if something is documented, you will receive proper accommodations. Now, please keep in mind that cheating is not allowed. If there's any way that we find out that you're cheating, we receive a 0-0 for the course and a referral to the Vice President of Instruction. Again, especially with the first couple weeks, hopefully the first couple weeks, honesty is going to be required because again, it's online stuff, so we don't want to come back, hopefully, and be behind for some reason. So technical support. Make sure if you have any technical issues, you let me know, so that way I know, to make accommodations or ask people to get you guys taken care of. Now, online attendance. Keep in mind this is a hybrid course, so each time you pass an exam, I will give you more hours in terms of attendance. Now, to tell you truthfully, this is a unique situation. Usually, we'll have a sign-up sheet during class. You're required to attend a certain amount of class hours, but unfortunately, during this time, I can't really hold you accountable in that way. So, with that being said, I will hold off on the online attendance for a second. So, class online. Since class in a regular class is not possible at the moment, there will be changes to typical aspects of the course. All the work will be done at your home during this time. Exams will be proctored using ProctorU online resource. More information on how to use ProctorU will be available when the time comes. Again, that's something I explained earlier. Keep in mind that during class, I will be available online through zoom.us. I will also post a link of this online on Canvas, so that way it'll be really easy for you just to click on the link. Um, so what zoom.us really is pretty much a video chat room where multiple people can join, and we as a classroom I'm going to make a zoom.us for our classroom. So when 6:30 hits until 8:55, you guys will have me on this side of the computer. So if you have a question, whether it's a specific problem or whether it's how the class is going to run, you could go on Zoom and I could help you pretty much with whatever you guys need. Now, again, I am going to be available as soon as this class starts, Mondays and Wednesdays from 6:30 to 8:55. Keep in mind the class does start at 6:25, but why I say 6:30 is because that's the settings I have to start on in terms of the Zoom. So that's a time you can also call me or anything like that, just to help you navigate, and especially if you have problems. If you have problems on WallMap or anything like that, in specific content areas too. If you haven't used Zoom, please make sure you let me know, whether it's calling me so I can get you set up, because that's going to be our number one communication. I have a doc cam just like right here where you could show me an example, or I could show you examples, see what you're working on, and we can get that squared out, at least during this time. Now, again, all this is going to be done through Canvas, so make sure that you guys, the very first thing you're doing is just going on Canvas. That way we can communicate a little bit easier. So that's pretty much the majority of the class. The main part is pretty much done through WallMap. If you guys can get set up with WallMap, know how that works. For the most part, you know how the course is running. You know what you got to do to get the pass grade in this class. Now, because a lot of this is done online, I've honestly seen some students sometimes um, take their time a little bit more. So what I've done is created this rough outline of what you need to do to pass the course on time. Now, do not worry about waivers and CASAS forms. Since we're not in class, this will not be possible, so don't worry about that. But what I'm expecting to see is by the end of week 1 you to be done working through 1.1 and 1.2. By the end of week 2, I want you to be done with all the way through 1.6. So this is, again, a rough estimate of what I want you guys to get done at the end of each week. So that way, by the end of the 11th week, which is the end of the quarter, you'll be done with the exit exam, exit review, and you'll pass the course in a timely manner. Now, keep in mind that there is one more day for this class during finals week. But don't use it as like, okay, one more day, because if something doesn't happen, you don't pass a test or something along those lines, um, we have that extra day to make up for it. So again, log on to WAMAP. Here's the ID code. Here's the password. You know everything. Now, the way things are run is that again, nothing on here requires me in order to enter some type of proctoring or some type of code. Everything 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.6, the unit review. The only thing that I have to proctor are the unit exams. The unit exams are the only ones that you don't have a you don't need a passcode. So I have to put a passcode in there, and these are the only ones that you do not get unlimited attempts. You get 2 attempts per each question. You have to get 80% overall. They're usually about 15 to 20 questions on each one, so you have to get accordingly whatever makes up 80%. Now, again, the everything else you have unlimited tries. You can keep trying this, practice, practice, practice. The unit one exams are the ones that you are going to have to get the 80%. Now, let's say if you don't pass it, depending on how you do, if you get something like a 70 and a 75, you're really close to passing. What I usually do is just show you what problems you did wrong, and then we go over them, and then you take a second attempt at it. And then usually when it's something that close, it's usually small mistakes that we do, and then you can pass on and you can move on from there. Now keep in mind that if you take a test and you end up with a 30-40%, that is telling me that something happened from 1.1 to 1.6, whatever unit you're working on that we didn't get to concentrate. So usually what I do there is I really just kind of reset these problems again. You just kind of work through it again. So make sure that when you're taking your unit exams, you're reviewing carefully to make sure that you don't get that lowest grade that makes it look like, something weird happened there. So again, I know this is a lot, especially everything being in a video, and could not be that clear. But hopefully, starting tomorrow when we go through Zoom or all that stuff, you have your questions a little bit answered. But I'm hoping for the most part that everybody can at least log on to WAMAP, use the course ID and the Roman key to get logged in there, and we'll go from there. So I think for the most part that is everything. Again, I wish I would known a little bit we can be in class so I could help you guys a little bit more, but unfortunately that's not possible. So hopefully you get your questions answered if you have any. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.